So this is Everspace. I did some a stream of this, and maybe I'll post another stream later. This is a game from Rockfish Games, as you can see on the screen, and as you can also see by the version number on the opposite side of the screen from Rockfish Games. This is still in early access. It calls itself a roguelike space sim, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's like Rogue Legacy. I don't really know that it's like Rogue. But these are the three ships that are going to come in the game. Right now, you can only play one of them. And the conceit of the game is, like in Rogue Legacy, you go out and in your adventures you get money, and you can spend them on these particular perks, which buff your baseline ship. And I don't really like that mechanic. I didn't like it in Rogue Legacy, and I don't like it here. It's a personal preference, not necessarily a critique of the game, other than I'm critiquing the thing that I don't like. Stats are here. There's like quests you can do, and there's a codex. And as you can notice, these stats are a pain in the fucking ass to do, because these quests are a pain because these perks are almost required so that you start off with a good enough ship, so that when you go out there, you can actually do something. Because the game is unlikably difficult. Now you fly as this dude, and I think there's kind of a clone thing or something like that, and there's this jump drive that you can go into, and jumping is just as simple as highlighting it from anywhere. There's only a few areas where you actually need to go to a specific spot in order to jump. And harvesting is basically that simple. You start off with 2 scanners that show you where stuff is on the map. Like right there, there's mineable rock. It happens to have scrap. There's also gas and ore minables. And you just shoot it, and eventually the game will tell you when you're done shooting. You can see there in the front, that little green bar tells you how much energy you've used, and there's little dudes to shoot. So this is being fairly helpful as far as giving you stuff to show off. Now, part of the space combat is a big pain in the ass, because if you play with the mouse and keyboard, you have this cursor that lets you aim, and it's pretty good. If you don't use the mouse to aim, where did the other ship go? I guess the locals must have killed it. If you use the mouse to control your pitch and such, then you're kind of fucked, because it's not really as smooth and fluid, and I think that's just an inherent advantage that the mouse and keyboard can offer. Now, notice that there's this ship over here. There's these fuel tanks that I'm not going to blow up because they belong to this G&B mining outfit. And if I shoot them, then all of the ships that are from the G&B are going to come. They're going to come at me, bro. I think this is a service station over here, or this is just another mining platform. This is just another mining platform. And again, if I fuck with them, then all the ships come at me. There are these other freighters around here, and there's not really a whole bunch going on, but you are out in the midst of space. There are occasional voice interactions between the players, well, the pilot and the onboard computer. And because I've been playing a while, a lot of the initial stuff has been played out. But there's some interesting stuff out there, which is pretty cool. You'd think that stuff would get added in much later in development, but but that hasn't been the case. I think I'm going to bail out of this system now because all there seems to be is ore. So like here, there's something in the way, and I just have to move out of the way, and everything's fine for the jump. Now, there's this G and B, which are the yellow dudes. There's also the outlaws, which are outlaws. And there's also another sect. There's like lizard men. They're called the Uklar or something. And the Uklar are really grossly overpowered. The outlaws tend to be pretty much on par with you. So if there's 2, maybe 3 outlaws at the very beginning, you're pretty much golden. But if there's like 2 Uklar, you're kind of fucked. If there's 1 even, you're kind of fucked until maybe you get lots of upgrades. Now, notice it's taking me a long time to get this guy. And the shields are probably going to start regenerating. There we go. Now, this bit of gear that I just installed, let's see. You have all these item slots. The only thing that you start off with is this Gatling gun, pulse lasers, some light missiles, a shield, and an energized boost, and 2 scanning probes. And that's it. That seems to be the only thing that you can start with. But you can get random drops of other things. And you can actually make new scanning probes if you get enough mats. And you pick up the mats by running around. And I feel a little bit like there needs to be a lot of balancing work done. Oh, there's missiles running around. And you can actually outfly the missiles if you're able to find them and see them in time. You can also just hide on the other side of the turret if there's nothing else shooting at you. And this is part of what I think is the real problem with the way it starts you out. Notice I've got all this hull damage. I can't do anything about it at the beginning of the game. What you need to heal is nanobots, and you never start with nanobots, which I think is kind of bogus. And I've been looking at the perks, and it doesn't seem like you ever start with them. Yes, I did just totally cheese that encounter. Now I can probably blow up these things here, and nothing's going to come at me, because I'm going to assume that this was an outlaw thing. Although if other stuff starts coming at me, then I'll know I was wrong. Let's see what's over here in this treasure chest. Hopefully this will give me a chance to shove. Okay, so here's a scattergun. Scattergun. Oh, there's some nanobots. The scattergun is just a different type of primary weapon. You can compare the stats, and if you don't like it, you can salvage it and get parts like that, so that I can then come over here and build a scanning probe. No, I can't yet. But I think that I will heal my hull a little bit. But probably also should have tried to heal my engines, because if you can't go anywhere, then you're kind of fucked. Now, notice that there are 2 lizard people ships over there. And they have spotted me. That's what the exclamation mark means. And I'm going to just peace out. Notice that I'm in combat, and there's a fucking laser coming at me.
I am a leaf on the wind.
and pretty much you're kind of fucked. That laser right there is the reason why the Oak are overpowered and unfair. But if you manage to warp out, everything's fine. Um, so yeah. Now, if you look up in the upper right-hand corner underneath that circle, there's the $18. That's leftover money I have from a prior run. Oh, I'm fucked. That you just kind of have to accumulate gold, dollars, because dollars is the only thing that really matters in the game. That money is spent on perks, and perks are the only thing that carry over, which feels really bad. And it's why I don't, which is also why I don't really feel like this is a roguelike. I mean, there's this whole quote-unquote permadeath thing, but it's not really so perma if you're able to restart. Rogue Legacy is the first game that I've noticed that mechanic in. There's probably others that I'm just not aware of, and it keeps track of how many times you've died here with this nice little counter. But any money that you do not spend, you lose. So there gets to be a point where, like, this is $2,000. I think I have some stuff that's also $5,000. Eventually, you get to the point where if you don't get $5,000, then that entire run is a waste of time. And the difficulty curve at the beginning doesn't feel like it enables that at all. This is actually the perk that I have that allows me to keep money. Like here, it'll let me keep 20% of the $18. So when I start a new round, notice I have 4, which is I think 40% of that. But like that piece of treasure that I picked up, it's gone. None of the materials that I had before are still in my inventory, so that feels really, really bad. And that's not something that I like. I'm certain that there are people who prefer that, prefer that kind of game, but I don't know. The graphics I think are pretty good. The sound design doesn't sound bad. Like the engines sound engine-y. Each of the weapons does have a different sound. Like here's the pulse lasers. There's also Gatling gun that you start off with. That scattergun also has its own sound. But one thing that I do note is that flying doesn't feel very good to me. They have a lot of experience in making space games, but their other games have been on the iPhone, and I don't know that I feel necessarily like those skills that flight style carries over very well to this. And in the end, that's why I feel like the mouse and keyboard is the way to go. If their other games are Galaxy on Fire 1 and 2, and I actually have those on my phone, and I enjoy them on my phone. I think that the space combat isn't too bad, but you also have a lot of weapons that can do auto aiming, and I think that's really necessary there. And I don't know, this just doesn't feel good. Like, also here you can shift in the Z plane, perpendicular to the screen, or strafe in that plane, and that feels really weird. You have forward and backward acceleration, and I don't know, the circle strafing idea really just does not feel good to me. Now, the last time that I played spaceflight sims was back in the days of Privateer and Wing Commander, and I have played, what's that game that just came out that everyone's sad about? No Man's Sky. But I don't really know that No Man's Sky counts as a space sim at all. So my memories of flight sims also include a joystick, rather a flight stick. So, so I don't know. Take that as you will. Oh, you saw those guys warp in. Okay, let's get these drones first. Oh yeah, so pro tip. These drones are more dangerous than the ships themselves. That continuous laser from before, the lizard ship that was getting me, that was from the drone, not from the ship itself. Oh, and you have like missiles too. Come on. Why won't you target? That works too. Oh, my targeting system is dead. That's why. Well, that sucks. I bought shit. And there's actually some really interesting interactions. If I can find it, I'll put up an interaction that I had where I got chased by some really overpowered ships and solved that problem by luring it to another, to not friendlies, but to neutrals, and took care of them that way. So there's some fun stuff there. But, I mean, I think the game, for what they want it to do, I think the game can be a lot better. They just need to work on some numbers tweaks to make a lot of other things feel good. Like as far as how much damage is done, how good the early game feels, how good or bad it feels to look at this and think, oh, look, a sensor that I can't do any fucking thing to repair because there's nothing in this zone and there's nothing in the next zone and there wasn't anything in the last zone. Because that, really does feel bad. I think that Rogue Legacy can get away with it because there's healing potions that drop with a fair bit of regularity, and you just don't have that here. At least not, the regularity. But, all in all, it's not bad. Some specific things that I want to contrast it with other spaceflight sims. Like, this does not have any economy. There are infrequent trader ships that you can sell your raw materials to, so you can get dollars, but there is no economy like where you can buy stuff here and sell it there and make a profit. It's just you get in, you shoot some shit, you die, you get back in, you shoot some shit, and you die. And for some people that's gonna suck. They're gonna be sad about that. Oh, if you stay here too long, interceptors come at you. Let's check out this rec. I don't know if they're going to add more factions than what are here now, but I doubt it. I mean, there's not really a lot of opportunities for depth in what they're looking for, but they have said that they are going to add those other 2 spaceships. So there will be a total of 3, and they have explicitly said that there will be no trading in this, and I don't think I want to fuck with that. Especially not if there's Zooplar. And I think I'm just going to die here, because I can't get away from that. But notice, like, I can hide behind this thing. Yeah, but that's about all I'm gonna get. And all I have is dumbfire rockets. That's too bad. Yeah, I'm gonna die right here because there's nothing I can do to get away. So depending on what you're looking for, I mean, this game is either going to satisfy that or not. I got away. Fuck yeah. I didn't get to explore the wreck at all, but whatever. So at the end of this map screen, though, let's see if we can bring up this star map. There is this jump gate. When you get through this jump gate, at the end of it, you go to another sector, and apparently there's a lot of sectors. You just keep going forever and ever. But I think that the game that they want to make, they've got an excellent start with making. It's just not a game for me. Oh, here's one of those trade ships. They're not a trade ship, but this is a garage where you can come in and get repairs if you can afford it. You can also attack it if you want. I'll attack it after this. But there's a little bit of resource where you can, like here, I can sell stuff, and yay, I've sold some things. I can repair things if I have money enough to do it, and I can buy fuel so that I can jump. Because each jump takes 25 fuel, or you can change that with some perks. See, you can actually, engage these things in combat, and I imagine if you were a good enough pilot and you had a good enough ship, you could do it. I guess that's really what bothers me the most. You could be the best fucking pilot in the game, and
I could have told you that the moment we met.
And it doesn't matter. You're really dependent on hardware, and there's not a really good way to start with that new hardware. Now I can take this $500 and spend it on perks and get something. And I probably will. I don't know that this has a lot of further gameplay for me at this point. I might, when it's updated, check it out again. But it doesn't feel that bad. It doesn't feel that bad. It is fairly pretty. I mean, sparse, but pretty. Also, and as a disclaimer, and I'll have this down definitely in the description. This game was given to me by the publisher. They sent me a code for it, and so thanks to them. And yeah, this has been Everspace.